In a beginning, the story is full of the Creator speaking into the darkness. Let there be light. Try it again. Let there be light. And there was light. The ancient psalmist and songwriter declared, "This is the day that our Creator has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it." Indeed, this is the day. And so welcome to this day and welcome to this space. Welcome to this sacred time as we gather in a community of celebration and honoring. As we gather in community, honoring the gifts of creation and Creator. It is good to be together. Good to be together here and good to be together through the gifts of technology. It is a big day, and we were aware that with our masking and our social distancing protocols that our seating might be an issue. We are hoping that when our Spirit Guide panels make their way to their home in Spirit Glen, we'll be able to have an outdoor worship service where we won't have to worry about so much the distancing, and we can have a huge community celebration. So this is one part in an ongoing celebration of creation and Creator. But it is a good day, a big day. But as it said, every day when we wake to the newness of the day, it is big. But today is filled and overflowing with joy and life and spirit. For today we celebrate another stage in the evolution of what we call Spirit Glen. And today we welcome renowned multimedia artist, collaborator, and wisdom keeper, Alan Syliboy, who has become our friend and companion on this journey of creation. So welcome, Alan. We give thanks for Alan's presence with us today as we unveil his Spirit Guide paintings, which will enrich and bless Spirit Glen and all who pause to ponder. As we gather, I also want to extend a welcome to other guests who are with us this morning. To Mark Austin and his partner. Mark is a graphic designer who works closely with Alan on many projects, and he certainly has been an integral part of this project, so welcome, Mark. Also, Mark Holliday from The Advocate is with us, another partner in our project. I also want to extend a welcome and a thank you to Tanya, to Patria, Dante, and to Crystal, who are with us this morning, who accepted our invitation to come and share with us their wisdom and their presence and their guidance. So thank you for being with us this morning. We are indeed deeply grateful for all who have gathered here this day and for, moreover, the passion and vision and commitment and dedication that has brought us to this day. And so I thank you to our visionaries and gardeners, to Ruth and Angie and David and to Karen and Dorothy for your continued work and for all that you've offered over these past, I don't know now, it's probably 5 years since the little seed of an idea was planted, which has grown and blossomed, so thank you. As we gather here this morning, we do acknowledge that this is what is named in our church calendar as Earth Sunday. April 22nd this week is Earth Day, but today it is appropriate that we gather on this Earth Sunday. And it is good to be grounded in this place. Today we intentionally pause and offer our gratitude for the miracle of all that is. In that we're also called to become ever aware of our connectedness to all and our interdependence. And so as we gather in this place on this Earth Sunday, we do recommit ourselves to living our gratitude in word and action. The creed of our United Church proclaims that we are called to live with respect in creation. And so may it be so this day, and may it be so each day. So again, welcome. I don't want to take a lot of time with announcements. Our bulletin is full with various announcements, and I hope and trust that you will move through those announcements and mark the appropriate ones on your calendar. I do want to pause, as I will also do later in worship, and acknowledge that which is on all of our hearts this day. As a year later we continue to grieve and lament and remember and honor lives lived and loves lost. We do enfold one another in compassion and care. And through our energy, through our spirit, we do send out healing energy and spirits into the world and into our province. We send out our compassion to those most directly impacted and those who are gathering in a variety of ways this day. And we continue to look to the light, to that sacred light of hope and peace and love. And we pray that that light will guide us through this day and through the days to come. I also hope and trust that you will join with all Nova Scotians later on today in pausing at 3 p.m. in 2 minutes of silence, as we do give expression to our common grief and to our common love and our common care for one another. Again, please take a moment to go through the announcements in your bulletin. Also, a reminder that following worship, we will gather in a time of hospitality, and Alan and Mark have graciously agreed to take some time to be with us in the time of questions and answers. When we get to that time following worship, we'll give you safe instructions on how to receive your refreshments and return to your pews so that we can have that time of question and answer. It has taken a lot of work to get us to this day and to this place. It has taken time and commitment and vision and resources, personal resources, financial resources. It takes wisdom to get us to this place. And we've needed wisdom, and we've needed guidance as we prepared for this day. And we've turned to our honored guests for that wisdom and for that guidance, and for that we are grateful. Tanya, Crystal, and Patria, and Alan, we have looked to you for wisdom and guidance, for teaching and support as we journey to this day. And so it is that we offer with respect the gift of tobacco, praying that you might accept this gift and continue to be with us and offer your wisdom this day. I invite us to stand, for this is Holy Ground. Today, as we are gathered and grounded in this place, this heart of creation, we pause and bring to mind that for thousands of years, Indigenous peoples have walked on this land. Their relationship with the land was at the center of their lives. We acknowledge the Indigenous peoples are the original peoples and the founding peoples, and that many cultures make up the fabric of Canadian identity. We remember that in this region we live, play, and work and assemble on lands which are the ancestral, cultural, and unceded lands of the Algonquin Nation and the Mi'kmaq peoples. May we learn to live with respect on this land. May we live in peace and friendship with this people as we seek reconciliation and healing for all peoples.
Yeah, we're just gonna finish it up. Get me
Come, gather. We gather surrounded by the blessings of Creator and creation. Come, gather. We gather ever aware of the sacredness of this place and this day. Come, gather. We gather lifted in our spirit of celebration and gratefulness and gratefulness. So, come sun and stars, moons and galaxies, tell the glory of our God. Come trees and plants, rocks and water, reveal the deep wisdom of our God. Come creative energy and vision and imagination, dwell around and within. From the east, air, breath, inspiration. From the south, fire, transformation, action. From the west, water, blessing, sustaining. From the north, earth, balance, wisdom. Blessed be our places, blessed be this worship, blessed be. On this Earth Day Sunday, we turn to words of wisdom. And today, words of wisdom that come to us from the Zen Buddhist monk, teacher, and poet, Thich Nhat Hanh, who reminds us, to live in the present moment is a miracle. The miracle is not to walk on water. The miracle is to walk on the green earth in the present moment, to appreciate the peace and beauty that are available now. And so we give thanks for the expanding grandeur of creation, worlds known and unknown, galaxies beyond galaxies, filling us with awe and challenging our imaginations. We give thanks for this fragile planet Earth, its times and tides, its sunsets and seasons. We give thanks for the joy of human life, its wonders and surprises, its hopes and achievements. We give thanks for our human community, our common past and future hope, our oneness transcending all separation, our capacity to work for peace and justice in the midst of hostility and oppression.
We give thanks.
For abiding hope and noble causes, for prophetic vision shared, for understandings of views not shared.
We give thanks.
For all who have labored and suffered for a fairer world, who have lived so that others might live in dignity and freedom.
We give thanks.
For opportunities to change and grow, to affirm and choose, to risk and be transformed.
We give thanks.
We pray that we may live not by our fears, but by our hopes, not by our words, but by our deeds. Since the beginning of human history, when people were able to gather, people shared stories. People offered their questions and stories were told in response. Stories factual, stories not so factual, but all stories holding a truth, a deep truth. From the beginning, stories have been told about our world, our cosmos, creation, as people wondered and asked, how did this world come to be? How did we come to be? Our ancestors, our elders, artists, poets, song singers, wisdom holders have shared story after story about the ground beneath our feet and the skies and galaxies above our heads. Stories of creation and creating and creatures. Two-legged, four-legged, multi-legged. Stories that cross boundaries of time and culture, science and religion, spiritual traditions and past. In those stories, including the scripture stories of the Hebrew and Christian traditions, we hear a story about an unfolding relationship A relationship between creator and creation. A story of the creator pronouncing or announcing goodness. Goodness of the cosmos, goodness of the waters, goodness of the land, goodness of people, goodness of all. And so it's appropriate today, as we celebrate the gifts of creation and the art of creation, that we turn to a very, 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 very old story. A very old story told with new eyes and new perspective. In the beginning, the very beginning, God gave birth. God gave birth, and God delivered, and God created the heavens and the earth. Out of the womb of fertile divinity emerged our mother, the earth. The earth was formless and empty. There was a darkness over the deep. And God, our mother, paused. And she pondered. And she contemplated. The Creator Spirit hovered, restless over the face of the waters, but yet savoring the stillness. The Creator embraced that mystical moment, contemplating the indissoluble cord binding Creator to creation. God loved creation, for creation was the fruit of God's womb. Creation was filled with all potential for good and goodness. And then it happened. God broke the silence. And God sang into the silence, "Let there be light." And sunlight chased the shadow. And God danced with the moon and the stars, and God sang life into all beings. God sang life into the seeds and the trees and the shrubs and the fruits and the flowers. God sang life into the birds that took to the heavens and the creatures that wandered the earth. And God sang, "Let there be life. Let there be life, life fashioned in the image of all that is holy." And so the Holy One created humankind. Humankind was created in the image of all that is holy and sacred and good. God created them. God created them from the earth, from the dirt of the earth, from the mud and the muck. God created them, fashioned in the Creator's image. And then the Creator gave breath. The Creator breathed the breath of life into them. Pneuma, Ruach, Spirit, the very breath of life. Birthing, forming, energizing, empowering, loving, transforming, embracing, disturbing, comforting, inspiring. The breath of life in all and through all. And God said, "It is good. It is good." And it was good. And it was good. And it was good. And it is good. And it is very good. It was intended from the very beginning, 5 years ago, when our merry little band of gardeners began to share our dreams for what was to become Spirit Glen, that it should be a space grounded in diverse spiritualities. Our Christian heritage is a subtle presence, in that the garden nestles into the profile of the cross that is the footprint of our church building. But it is Mother Earth upon which the garden rests, with a canopy of trees and sky the ceiling. Garden residents are flora and fauna, plants and shrubs, insects and birds, the occasional deer, gifted by Mother Nature. Our prayers take flight from prayer flags inspired by the Tibetan Buddhist tradition. The meditative path of our finger labyrinth is linked to a heritage predating recorded history. Likewise, our gazebo is part of a spiritual heritage dating back over 5,000 years to ancient Egypt. As earlier noted, Spirit Glen finds its home in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. So it seemed fitting, just over 3 years ago, that we should cast about within the Mi'kmaq community for a way to honor this spiritual heritage. Soon to grace the blank canvas presented by the brick wall behind our water feature, today we celebrate the 3 spirit guide images created by Alan Syliboy in partnership with graphic designer Mark Austin, with digital files rendered into the panels about to be revealed by Eastern Sign Print of Advocate Printing and Publishing. Our liaison with them, Mark Holliday, present with us today. It is with the deepest gratitude that we honor the gifts of artists and technicians and those who have offered financial support, embracing the spirit of the United Church of Canada, friends, and members of Pictou United Church.
I ask Creator to come and to bless these beautiful pieces of art representing our spirit guides, as you bring good medicine, bring the people to help heal them in a good way. Surround them with so much love and light. I'm just going to have my daughter just walk around with the medicine. Doesn't mean you have to get up or smudge or anything. She's just going to bring that love around.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here and to be involved in this project. I just want to say that when I was very young, my father passed away when I was about 5, and my mother remarried a few years later, and she married a man from Spirit Glen, Lawrence Francis. So we lived in Furrow, but we spent all our summers in Merrigamish and Spirit Glen. And we were on Merrigamish during the mission every year. We lived there for 2 or 3 weeks every summer. So I had the very best memories of this area. So it's always been close to me. And many relationships, especially when I was very young. So to do something in this area was always important, especially something like this, and reconciliation, is something important that we can't, we must do something about it. It can't be just sitting there. And so we can't move forward if we don't do something to reconciliate mistakes that have been made in the past. Things overlooked. So this is a big moment in that we get to do something, and on outside there must be someone to receive it. And that's why I'm here, and so glad to be a part of this and produce work for this. And there's many places in the world that you can sit and contemplate and meditate. But we put purpose here, and we all gather here, and that makes our prayer or our thoughts more powerful. These represent the earth, the sky, the ocean, and that all the gifts that we have, and that we can't take for granted. They are gifts, and we must treat them that way. My collaborator, Mark Austin, wrote a poem, and I'd like him to come up. Do you mind? And read it, please, before. And then I'll do some answers, questions and answers. That might be.
Good morning. Thanks for the invitation, for the opportunity to be involved in this project. And thanks, Alan, for asking me up to read this poem. This poem is called Prayer. Moose inhaling life in breath, circulating, ruminating, energizing. Soil receives its supplements. Beings sustain. Rhizomes, droplets, oxygen, seeds, thirst, unfurls, sprouting, yearning, flailing, learning, particles of love twirling, guiding journeys. Eagle-spotted wings and tail with prayers carried, carrying, lifted, crying, soaring, past the sun on astral flight, bearing longing. Stars are plotting out the route, Milky Way, many ways, always now, ever then, 7 points of direction, conjuring meaning. Whale floats in realms of knowing, inner voices wail overhead, and under feet, songs of all ancestral time, dancing spirits. We are where we've been, placemate, here on grindstone earth, sensing more beneath the sun, shining space for everyone, seeking wisdom.
Thank you, Mark. Yeah, I would be happy to answer any questions you might have about this. Yes?
Beautiful work.
Thank you.
The red dot on the pin from the whale, the red dot.
Yes.
What does it represent?
Well, in a lot of my paintings, I have dots, different kinds of dots. And to me, that just acknowledges that the spirits are with us, even though we may not see them. And when you see them right on the top of the land, on the moose, you see the dots there. That's the they are they're there, especially when the day turns to night and the end of the day and morning, and you might see them. But I went to a Sundance many years ago in Saskatchewan, and that's what I could see when I was there, especially when the sun was going down, and they would close the Sundance for the day. So that's just something that I picked up along the way. So they're there in many of my pieces. Okay. Yes.
Hi, I followed you on Twitter, and I'm always obviously impressed with the creativity of your work, but also your words and your eloquent words that you put with your work. And I'm just wondering, do you write out your words first and then are inspired by your words to create something, or do you create and then put the words with the creation?
When I create, I don't generally have I don't have a drawing or sketch or anything. It's generally an idea, a very meager idea generally, and it grows from there. So I don't have, I don't do a lot of sketches or anything like that. I paint directly on the canvas, and it's a spontaneous kind of thing with me. It's a discovery. It's So, no, I don't have, sometimes I have concrete ideas before I start it. I'm going to do well for sure, but, you know, how, I let it unfold naturally, and to me, that's where the creation and the excitement and the newness of it is always, it's always fresh, it's always new. I'm inspired in the beginning and just carry on once I'm doing it. Would that be it?
We are going to have
some opportunity once following worship when we have some refreshments to have some more questions and time with Alan and Mark. But as you have seen this day is a gift, and Alan's vision and his words, his art is indeed a gift to us. So we do want to thank Alan once again for all the conversations back and forth and all that he's offered to us in his words and his presence, and now in these pieces of artwork that will bless all who pause to ponder, and certainly is a gift to this community and to all of our communities. And so, thank you. As was noted, Alan's words and images blend together, and they speak to us in very profound ways. So if you're not following him on Twitter or Facebook, I encourage you to do so. And for me, the Daily Drum has become my meditative moment in the morning, and that has graces the front of our bulletin. Alan writes, "Prayer is giving thanks on a daily basis for all creation, for fish, for food, for children, for elders, for all the Creator has given us. It is believed that all things are part of nature and must be respected. We give thanks when we use part of nature for our own needs."
Praise the Lord.
in the heart of the common man. Raise your voice and join hands, sing the song of the land. It's the song of the land in the heart of the common man. Raise your voice and join hands. Sing the song of the land. Somewhere there's a land for you and I. Somewhere there's a land for you and I. Spirit, open my heart to the joy and pain of living. As you love, may I love in the burning and in giving. Spirit, open our heart.
We do ask the Spirit to open our hearts, to keep our hearts open. Writer Parker Palmer remarks that what we need are more broken-hearted people. Broken-hearted in terms of recognizing the pain that is part of our reality and the pain of our world, but broken-hearted as in broken, open hearts. Open to the joy, to the light, to the love. As we move into our day and into our world, we do pause. And we do take a moment in what I am calling a time to name that which weighs down our hearts and that which uplifts our hearts. Because it seems to me in our day we need a moment, a common moment where we just name that which is weighing heavy upon us, but also that which is uplifting us. And so today, as we gather, we bring to heart and mind that this day, in and of itself, weighs heavy. A year gone by. A year of shock and grief and lament and unanswered questions. A year of remembering and healing and more grieving and more grief. And so we do hold family, friends, loved ones, the Portapic community in our compassion and our care. Our hearts are heavy this day with ongoing fears and uncertainty and sorrow as COVID waves and variants impact so many. So we enfold nurses and doctors and researchers and frontline workers and caregivers and families and decision makers in our hearts. We pray for wisdom. Our hearts are made heavy by the reality, the ongoing reality of racism and the resulting violence, the hatred and fear that is breaking apart so many communities. We think of lives ended this very week and communities shattered. And we pray for peace. I invite you just to take a moment to name in the silence of your hearts or aloud, if that feels comfortable, that which weighs heavy upon you this day. But our hearts are also uplifted. Our hearts are uplifted by acts of kindness and compassion. We think of those who speak out and those who seek to make a difference, and voices that break the silence of apathy and call us to be our better selves, to be stronger communities, more kind, more compassionate people. Our hearts are uplifted by increasing vaccination numbers and by those who give of their time day after day to keep us safe. Our hearts are uplifted by the beauty of creation, by the art of creation, the music of creation, by the gifts of creation. Our hearts are uplifted by these moments as we gather in community for the wisdom and friendship, the love shared. And so I invite you to take a moment to name silently or if you feel comfortable aloud that which uplifts your heart this day. Spirit, open our hearts this day, every day. May it be so. When I chose this poem to be part of our worship, I wasn't expecting that. We have been moving through days of dreary and days of rain. So it seems to be a very appropriate poem because I know some people are feeling weary of the rain, but the rain is necessary, is it not? It is part of the gifts of creation. And Joy Harjo invites us into praise, a praise for all things, a praise for everything, a praise for all good gifts. She writes, praise the rain, the seagull dive, the curl of plant, the raven talk. Praise the hearth, the house slab, the stand of trees, the dignity. Praise the dark, the moon cradle, the sky fall, the bear sea. Praise the mist, the warrior name, the earth eclipsed, the fire leap. Praise the backwards, upward sky, the baby cry, the spirit. Praise canoe, the fish rush, the hole for frog, the upside down. Praise the day, the cloud cup, the mind flat, forget it all. Praise crazy, praise sad, praise the path on which we're led. Praise the roads on earth and water, praise the eater and the eaten. Praise beginnings, praise the end, praise the song and praise the singer. Praise the rain, it brings more rain. Praise the rain, it brings more rain. Praise the rain. Praise the stay. Praise the gathering, our coming in, and our going forth. Adapting on words from Martin Luther King for this day. God writes the gospel, not in the Bible alone, but on artists' canvases and brick walls, in creatures and creation, in trees, flowers, clouds, and stars. Earth, teach me stillness, as the grasses are still with light. Earth, teach me suffering, as old stones suffer with memory. Earth, teach me humility, as blossoms are humble with beginning. Earth, teach me caring, as a mother who nurtures her young. Earth, teach me courage as a tree which stands alone. Earth, teach me limitation, as the ant which crawls on the ground. Earth, teach me freedom as the eagle which soars in the sky. Earth, teach me acceptance, as the leaves which die and fall. Earth, teach me renewal as the seed which rises in the spring. Earth, teach me to remember kindness, as dry fields weep